What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It's cold out. I ain't gonna lie. I'm on the screened-in porch, and that wind is whipping off of the ocean out here. And maybe it's the winds of change that are blowing around. Literally, the winds of change. The fan's not on. That's just them blowing from the wind. We have some more news on the saga that is what's beginning to feel a little bit like deja vu last year with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, if you remember, last year was going through and he interviewed with like 5 teams. They literally interviewed him, and sometimes what teams do when they interview you is pick your brain for ideas. They're not really interested in hiring you. If you're a black coach, usually they're bringing you in to make sure they get past the Rooney Rule as they have their eyes set on somebody else. But this is an opportunity to try and get philosophies and a little bit of information from different people. So with Dan Quinn, we know Dan Quinn interviewed with Denver. He interviewed with the Colts, and then he was having a second interview with the Arizona Cardinals. And to me, when you look at what the Cowboys defense did from 20 to now, you look at that and say, man, this guy knew what he was doing with getting this team going. He turned that team around. And not, mind you, with tons of big-name free agents. They did it between the draft, the players that were there, and no-name guys, okay? If you look at what this defense is being paid, the only superstar out there is Diggs and Micah Parsons. Everybody else are kind of like, you know, I mean, you've got Name and DeMarcus Lawrence, but DeMarcus Lawrence is the same guy he was, you know, a few years back. So we're hearing that the Indianapolis Colts, which I think that's one of the jobs that you really want to stay away from. I look at that job and say that Irsay is a little bit crazy. And the amount of turnover that they've had, not having really a quarterback, unless you look at it and say, Matt Ryan is still your guy. Matt Ryan, wow. Matt Ryan, who's done. I don't think that should be a premier job, or looked at as one. It's not like the days when they had Peyton Manning and the roster was full. They've got some good players, but you got a flaky owner. Well, Saturday, Dan Quinn is interviewing again. So that's kind of interesting that it's put off that far down the road. So that means that probably the Cardinals is not, either that interview didn't go that well, or he's not interested. Interesting turn of events here, or maybe he's trying to get a better deal. I don't know which it is, but it's definitely kind of interesting. It would be really cool if there were a way that he returned. Coaching matters. And I'm looking and wondering and hoping that sometimes you have to shake things up. Bill Parcells could win the Super Bowl, and then he would still turn over 30% of the roster the next year to keep people on his toes, to bring in fresh meat and fresh experiences. And that's one of the things that we don't get with the Cowboys. As Stephen Jones always says, we believe in our own guys. Well, you've got a problem here in the belief in your own guys is great. And they've done incredible things getting some players. But see, the belief in our own guys, you have to look at as part of the downfall of the team. There's no way, no how, when the Cowboys started the season, when the reason our wide receiver core was as bad as it was, that did not have to be, was because of decisions that the ownership made. We do not want to pay Amari Cooper. We do not want to play Cedric Wilson. we're going to be fine with James Washington and a third-round draft pick in Jalen Tolbert. If they were doctors, they would be sued and lose for malpractice. We started the season with the wide receiver cores of CeeDee Lamb, James Washington, who couldn't stay healthy, and since he couldn't, we had Jalen Tolbert, we had Noah Brown, and Dennis Houston. Sorry, that does not compete with teams like the Eagles wide receiver core, like teams like the Buffalo Bills, teams like the San Francisco 49ers. It just doesn't. And I don't care how you try and sugarcoat it. We learned this lesson in 2018 that having playmakers makes a difference. We went from a 3-5 team without talent at wide receiver. You got CeeDee Lamb, and you ended up, Amari Cooper, and you ended up running through and winning the division. Why is it everybody's memory is so short and not understand that playmakers matter? And we don't have those guys. Now, I will say, if you read between the lines, getting rid of Skip Pete probably means that you're going to be moving on from Zeke Elliott. And the thing, I'm still working on it, and I'm spending time with our friend Allie and stuff, family time and all. Running back is a conundrum. Because the problem now is you're going to have to let go Zeke. Zeke just costs too much money. Let's be clear. Even getting him at a reduced fee is still taking up a roster spot. Running back is a very young man's game. They don't last for long. And we are on the precipice, again, of doing the same thing we've done before. And that's with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, who high ankle sprain, fractured leg. Last year was plantar fasciitis. We know you don't want to play him more than 20 plays a game. And now you're looking at a long-term contract. Things that have killed us in the past are big contracts for guys that don't pan out. From Jay Ratcliffe, from guys like Miles Austin, Terrence Newman, Des Bryant. We've gone through and said we got to take care of those guys, and they're on the downhill slide. I wish I had the answers. I wish I did, but I don't. But I don't think Zeke is coming back. Wow. It's crazy. It is crazy. But we'll see. Peace.